The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. She deserves it! Wilson became the first player in WNBA history to have at least 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 steals in a game. She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin.
All right, let's break down this WNBA drama. We're diving into why Caitlin Clark's exit has the league shook. We'll show you the before and after. Trust me, it's wild. Then we'll get into A'ja Wilson's record-breaking season that nobody's watching. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. But here's the kicker. We're going to expose why the WNBA might have just shot itself in the foot. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why A'ja Wilson's going nuts and why the league's sweating bullets. Ready? Let's talk about how Caitlin Clark flipped the script for the WNBA. When she joined the league, it was like someone hit the turbo button. Suddenly, everyone was tuning in. We're talking packed arenas, social media blowing up, the whole 9 yards. Clark was pulling in a whopping 1.8 million viewers per game. That's insane compared to the usual WNBA numbers. But here's where things get wild. Clark wasn't feeling the WNBA vibe, the physical play, the refs letting things slide. It was like she stepped into a whole different game, and she wasn't shy about it either. Clark straight up told reporters, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." Imagine being the new superstar and feeling like you're getting beat up every game. Meanwhile, the league's loving all this attention. They're thinking they've struck gold with Clark, bringing in all these new fans. But they didn't see the storm coming. Clark's not happy, and you know what happens when your star player's not feeling it? Now get this.
Wilson became the first player in WNBA history to have at least 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 steals in a game. Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics. That honor goes to the Las Vegas Aces superstar, A'ja Wilson. You know I got a soft spot for that girl. She came through for me.
Clark wasn't just any rookie. She was breaking records left and right. She smashed the WNBA rookie scoring record with 761 points in her season. The previous record? 744 points, set by Hall of Famer Simone Augustus back in 2006. And that's not all. Clark also set the single-season assists record and dished out a mind-blowing 19 assists in a single game against the Dallas Wings. The girl was on fire. But here's the kicker. All that wasn't enough to keep her around. Clark decided to peace out and head to Europe. Just like that, the WNBA's golden ticket was gone. Can you imagine? The league thought they had their next big thing, and she bounces after one season. Now everyone's wondering, what's going to happen to the WNBA without its new superstar? They put all their eggs in the Clark basket, and now that basket's halfway across the world. The league's scrambling, trying to figure out how to keep the fans Clark brought in. But let's be real. When your main attraction leaves the show, it's not easy to keep the audience in their seats. Well, the audience definitely didn't stay in their seats. In fact, they ran for the exits faster than you can say three-pointer. The league thought they could weather the storm, but nobody expected a Category 5 hurricane. What happened next sent shockwaves through the entire sports world. The WNBA's trying to act like everything's fine, but the numbers don't lie. We're talking about a 50% drop in viewers. That's not a dip, that's a free fall. Imagine going from packed arenas to half-empty stadiums overnight. It's like the league went from hosting the Super Bowl to a high school scrimmage. And it's not just about empty seats. TV ratings, they've plummeted so low, they're giving late-night infomercials a run for their money. Remember when Clark was pulling in 1.8 million viewers per game? Now, the league's lucky if they hit half that number. It's like someone flipped a switch and turned off half the TVs in America. But here's the real kicker. It's not just the casual fans who've disappeared. Even die-hard WNBA supporters are tuning out. These are the folks who've been with the league through thick and thin, and now they're saying, "Nah, I'm good." It's like the league lost its soul when Clark left.
Caitlin Clark, remember that girl, that superstar playing for Iowa that ended up going to the Final Four? She's also the first player with at least 35 points and 5 steals in multiple games. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. She deserves it!
You know what's even crazier? The WNBA is trying to push other stars, but nobody's biting. They're parading out their top players, highlighting their stats, doing everything short of begging fans to watch. But it's like trying to sell ice to Eskimos. Nobody's buying it. The league's facing a crisis they never saw coming. They thought they could replace Clark, but they're finding out the hard way. Some stars can't be replaced. It's like trying to fill the Grand Canyon with a bucket of water. No matter how many players they promote, they just can't capture that Clark magic. Amidst the chaos of Clark's departure, another storyline is unfolding in the shadows. Aja Wilson is having a season for the ages, breaking records left and right. But in a league desperate for attention, why isn't Wilson's incredible performance making waves? Let's talk about Aja Wilson. She's out here shattering records like it's no big deal. Get this, she just became the first player ever to score 1,000 points in a single WNBA season. That's insane. The previous record was 939 points, set by Jewel Lloyd just last year. Wilson's not just breaking records, she's obliterating them. But here's the kicker, her big moment barely made a blip on the radar. Can you believe it? Wilson's breaking records in arenas that are half empty. It's like she's playing in a vacuum. Imagine hitting that 1,000-point mark and looking up to see rows of empty seats. That's gotta mess with your head, right? And you know what's really getting to Wilson? She's wondering why she can't pull in the crowds like Clark did. I mean, she's putting up numbers that we've never seen before in the WNBA. But instead of fans going wild, it's crickets. It's like she's the tree falling in the forest that nobody hears. Now Wilson's getting frustrated, and can you blame her? She's calling out Clark, talking about privilege and all that. During a post-game interview, Wilson said, "There's some buckets in this league. It was pretty surreal, but it was one of those things that I did not understand it was in reach." You can hear the surprise in her voice, like she can't believe no one's done this before. But all this drama, it's just making things worse. Fans are turning on Wilson, calling her out for being a sore loser. They're saying she's jealous of Clark's popularity. And you know what? That's not fair. Wilson's out here making history, and instead of celebrating her, people are tearing her down. The WNBA's star player is shining bright, but in a league that's gone dark, does it even matter? Wilson's teammates are trying to hype her up. They gave her a standing ovation when she hit that 1,000-point mark. But it's not the same as having a packed arena going wild for you. Wilson's breaking records in empty arenas, but that's just a symptom of a deeper problem. The WNBA put all its eggs in one basket, and now that basket's playing in Europe. Can a league survive when its entire identity walks out the door? Let's talk about the WNBA's identity crisis. It's not just about losing Clark, it's about losing their whole game plan. The league's scrambling like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to figure out who they are without their golden girl. They're pushing other stars, changing up the game, even stirring up drama. But you know what? Nothing's working. Remember all those new fans Clark brought in? Yeah, they're gone faster than free t-shirts at a game. And the old fans? They're feeling burned, like the league forgot about them while chasing the new hotness. It's like the WNBA threw a party for Clark and forgot to invite everyone else. Now you've got players like Wilson talking about race and privilege, trying to stir up some attention, but it's backfiring big time. Fans are turning on her, calling her jealous. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You can't look away, but you know it's not going to end well. The WNBA thought they could ride the Clark wave forever. They were surfing high, thinking they'd found the secret sauce to success. But now, they're drowning without her. It's like they built this whole house of cards with Clark as the foundation, and when she left, the whole thing came tumbling down. You know what's crazy? The league's just now realizing they messed up. They put all their eggs in one basket, and that basket just flew off to Europe. It's like they were so busy counting their chickens, they forgot to build the coop. Now they're left with a bunch of broken eggs and no idea how to make an omelet. So here's the million-dollar question. Can the WNBA survive without its golden girl? Or is this the beginning of the end? They're at a crossroads, and which way they turn could make or break the whole league. It's not just about finding a new star, it's about rebuilding an entire identity from the ground up. Alright, so what's next for the WNBA? They're in deep trouble and they know it.
Clark now has an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that will include her own signature shoe. BA collaborated with Mike Wilbon to rig stuff against me. She was the only one that showed up. I always loved that girl. She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin.
They thought Caitlin Clark was their golden ticket, but now they're learning the hard way. No one player can save a whole league. It's time for them to step up or step out. Think about it. The WNBA's got two choices: adapt or die. They need to figure out how to keep fans hooked without relying on just one superstar. It's not going to be easy, but hey, that's the game. So here's the million-dollar question. Is this the wake-up call the WNBA needed, or is it too little, too late? Only time will tell if they can turn this ship around or if they're headed for the iceberg.